Welcome to the Relative Minds podcast. Today's episode is going to be about the up and coming generation, which me and Giovanni have had a lot of up close and personal experience with, being that we're still in high school.
Of course.
And I gotta tell you, it's something else. So, what do you think? There's a lot of varying issues, and this is a long discussion that's probably going to need to be split into multiple parts.
Right.
But what do you think? Among all the issues from feminine to the LGBT, whatever, all of the things that are on the table of discussion for the weakness of young men, what do you think is impacting them the most, young men and young women?
I guess it's, well, for me it was anxiety, of course, right? That's a big issue, but then you have to look off to what does that anxiety stem from, and is that household issues? Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's mainly, you never are going to see a, LGBT kid that was born and raised in a masculine home.
No.
The reason for that is just home environment. It's just how you were grown up to. That's how you were grown up from. There's no way to say that, oh, that could happen, right? Of course, anybody could be whatever they want to be,
Mm-hmm.
but at a certain point, are you using it as an excuse, or is that truly what you want?
Mm-hmm.
And even now in our school with the LGBT community, I've seen most of those kids and these furries, like literally in our school, most of these kids use this as an escape from the anxiety, or this was a household issue, and that usually does happen.
I was listening to Joe Rogan and Jordan Peterson recently did a podcast, and Jordan Peterson, whose expertise in this topic, is talking about, the psychodemic in the gay and trans community right now, where some of it is authentic, some of it's real, but a lot of what it is that, okay, we're seeing it the most in young women, but young women, when you go through puberty, are 100% prone to anxiety and depression, which leads to body dysmorphia.
That's what I mean. So does it?
But then, the narrative that we're being told is that body dysmorphia means, oh, you must be trans, and then you add the appeal of like, okay, maybe you're not that popular, you're not that cool, and it inclines you to want to make those changes because, oh, well, if you do this, then you're not anxious and depressed and have body dysmorphia. You're this brave person who made this change.
Right, because that only happens because availability is prevalent.
And he's basing this off of research they've observed over the course of 300 years, psychodemics, even things like anxiety itself, right? Or with multiple personality disorder, where one case will pop up and then thousands of cases will pop up and then it'll die down. It just goes like that throughout history.
Right, but I'm saying, if there's no availability prevalent, you lose the sense of relation with that topic. You've never talked to a child who's starving in South Africa, and you've asked them what they want their pronouns to be. They don't even know what that is.
Well, yeah, because it's not there.
It's not prevalent.
That's here and in the UK.
But why is it? Why are we creating meanings? It's false meanings. That's what it is. And if you don't give it a meaning, there's nothing to do about it. And we gave the LGBTQ plus whatever now it is a meaning, and that's part of modern issues. It's a big part, and the LGBT community, there's nothing to hate about them, but when you get those false people in there, then it's really like questioning your own group. That would be like having a false Christian in the Catholic Church. Those false believers.
There's a clinic in the UK that does body transformations that is getting has like 30,000 lawsuits right now because they didn't undergo proper procedure for finding out if it's authentic body dysmorphia or if it's psychodemically influenced.
That's what I mean, and I'm guessing half of them were just
and now
was not even.
They didn't sit. The thing is, you're not even allowed to sit a person down anymore and explore whether or not it's like, okay, you've always felt kind of like a boy. You feel out of place. You're anxious and you're depressed. Maybe that's the root cause of this. What they found is that 90% of the people who think they have body dysmorphia become comfortable with their comfortable with their body by age 17, and 80% of those people are gay and not trans.
Well, do you want to know why that is? It's an emotional connection.
Mm-hmm.
It's all emotional. If I came up to you and you had severe anxiety and you were this person, I came up to you, I said, you're confused about your identity.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm not. I know I'm not confused. I know I'm not confused. Yelling at me.
But then it builds in their mind.
Right, but that's still emotional. People get to a point
Mm-hmm.
where there is no more of thinking rationally at all. And those are the people who go through the procedures. Those are the people who are like, let's just get it done. But that's not a real reason at all. Like, if you want to do what you want to do with your money, fine. But if you are emotionally confused and it's manipulation is what it is.
But it's also naturally, because we're seeing it in the younger generations, it's natural to be emotionally confused. It's a very new thing for a lot of people. You know, you go through puberty, hormones, emotions, all this stuff, but then you get told that means this other thing, which it has never before meant.
Right. And the reason we still go through puberty at this young age is because, this is generational thing that in zero, before that, the year zero, we had to go fight at this age, and the men hit a certain age where they had to go hunt.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we have puberty. And almost using the hormones against yourself is what I'm seeing happen.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're using their own hormones to think what they want to think, and that thought can be so powerful at this age that it can come true, and you can do whatever you want with that.
What's interesting about hormones is I think it plays a huge role in sexuality and things like that when you combine it with the influence of the media and the culture.
Emotions.
So for example, a few years ago I was gay, right? And I was very depressed. And
Yeah.
I'm not saying that has anything to
But
do
you were confused.
in relation to me. I was confused. I didn't know what I wanted. But as I found sort of self-improvement and I started becoming more masculine because it was what I needed, I was suicidal, I was depressed. As I became more masculine and as I improved my diet, started going to the gym, my testosterone increased. The homosexuality, which was real authentic homosexuality, I was genuinely attracted to men. It just faded away. It doesn't exist anymore. As I became more masculine energetically, spiritually, but also hormonally, I think I was majorly influenced by that, combined with the media culture.
I want to go to what you said on when you were gay was authentic. It wasn't. In the moment, even, it wasn't. Because you had the possibility.
But it was for that time. Because in the same way you can influence someone to become something else, I was influenced to become something else. But I'm also influenced now to be different than I was then.
Right. But that's emotional.
It depends on what you mean by authenticity.
Right.
Because in that moment,
in your mind,
emotionally,
it was authentic.
It was authentic to me. Was it my true desire? Well, we don't know what anyone's true desire is, and that's more at a loss than ever with everything that we're seeing.
Right, and getting off the topic of the LGBT community a little bit.
Touchy subject.
Not really. It shouldn't be. I mean, the LGBT community has been around since I don't even know when. Early 1900s.
Well, I don't like
cross-dressing in World War II.
Is that they'll shut down conversations like this and literal science behind it, like that guy who had his study shut down, who was researching the fact that a lot of trends, body dysmorphia right now is a psychodemic. He got his study shut down because it offended parents of trans children.
That's not right, though. See, there's a different way to spread your community, and I know it's not take the religious path. And
do they ever think that more people might agree with them if they had something to actually stand for and they didn't just shut down any counter argument?
No, because it's an emotional connection now. Do you see what I'm talking about? If there wasn't emotion involved, I think it could be a very successful. Not even. I mean, I don't know what their movement even is or what it's based
some
around.
of that's turning around though. With feminism, I watched this video of asking feminists what's wrong with feminism, and the smart ones that you could see were more emotionally detached were saying, you know what, focus needs to be more on men, blah 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 blah. Feminism has become more about superiority of women over men rather than equality. But then the emotional purple-haired nose ring people were all like, no, I will not be suppressed by blah 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 blah, even though statistically it's not true.
Right, but thank you for saying smart.
Changed.
I could go on to smart. What is smart? In relativity, I look stupid to the smartest people in my class, but what is smart? Right? You said this stereotype, this stereotypical person would say that.
Well, they're not actually stupid, actually. I think that they're highly creative people that are misguided by the narrative of the culture.
Right. That's what I was going to say. So smart, are they, I'll get back to smart, but the stereotypical person, I guess you could say, would be playing the victim. Because, I'm going to fight against the bigger power. What's the bigger power? They think it's men trying to control it. It's not.
It's not. Women. Feminism,
but,
LGBT, all of that is...
Honestly, it's other women that are fighting against them to be the best woman. But there's no way to explain that to an emotionally unstable person. So that's where I'm going into stupid. You don't know. You think you're smart. I'm going to tell you right now, when you're emotionally stupid, you think you're the best. You think you're a genius.
Yeah.
No, genuinely, you believe you are a genius.
I know, because I've interacted with these people the same way
right.
you have. I've very much observed that.
No, and it's amazing, because it's also really strange because you make it yourself. And I've talked to a person that's one of our close friends that thinks he's very smart, and I think you know who I'm talking about. But yeah, he thinks he's very smart, but that is just so weird to me. just I don't know, just having him talk to me, and then me talking back to him.
Some of it's denial, because that person in question did try self-improvement at a time, but then he quit after 3 days, and then he started again, and then he quit. He's quit the gym like 70 times, and he hasn't gone back. And he lost a bunch of weight, but he lost it by smoking. And he likes to convince himself that he is what he's not, and that he has the capability to do these things, but really he'll sit around in his sweatpants for 3 days on the couch and not get up.
And all of us will do that when we're sick and have a good reason.
I don't even do that. I could never. When I'm sick, I spend the entire time.
When I did my leg procedure, that should be interesting.
Okay, but I would never. What's crazy to me is that people so lazy, so dysregulated hormonally and mentally that they will sit around on their couch and not change their clothes, not shower for weeks.
No, that is strange. I don't think most people do that, and I'm talking for majority in everything I say, because majority is the.
Have you seen some of the people that they have nothing else to live for?
Nobody, but there's
What reason do you have to shower when you're a fucking incel and you have nothing else to live for?
Right, but I don't understand. Explain this to me. When this generation of what you call incels...
I don't actually call them incels, it's just a good word.
But when this generation, is it a generational thing? Because when this generation grows out and their parents say, get out. Because I don't know, this may be different, but my parents want me out at 18. I don't know about you. 18, I'm out.
Yeah.
But most parents, even my friend, said 22, 25. You're a grown man at 25. You're 25. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, most of these people don't know where they're going to go in life. You ask them, what do you want to do in life? They're like...
Well, that is a hard question. Even my parents' careers.
They don't give themselves time to think about those things, and that's why they're so lost.
It's not that they don't give them. They have plenty of time. Because I'm saying they don't give themselves the time because they spend the time consuming content that keeps them distracted and weak. With the people that we're growing up with, you either end up with a degenerate or you end up with a fucking loser. It's one or the other. Because that's all they have left. We'll never know because we haven't. We'll never know till we get there, right? When it hits 2027 and all the 14-year-olds talking about Sigma and Riz Ohio Yacht will be out of high school. And then they have to pay money.
I mean, you can see their life path clearly, though.
Right, and I have a few friends who are well off for the area we live in. And those kids are going to have it way, way harder than most. Those are the kids I see actually trying. Can you believe that? Not the kids of the poor families. They don't have that motivation. The kids in the wealthier families have more motivation to succeed and be better than their parents. And that's a growing up thing. That's like not. That was how you grew up. And if your parents were always there and always around you, telling you everything was okay, then there's going to be a problem. And I can't wait, but I'm also, it's concerning, right? That jobs are losing money. It's hard to keep a stable job in this generation because, that's another thing. You've seen inflation. I'm not going to get into politics, but I went to the supermarket, right? I went to the supermarket with my friend. We went to go buy, that was the day of my birthday when we came home.
Mm-hmm.
Me and Ezra, we were going to go out, but I wound up going out with my brother. We went to the store. He bought a gallon of ice cream. I think it was $6, and tax was $3. Because that's crazy. That is ridiculous. So when I bought mine, and I'll tell you this, I think it's 8%. I don't know why it was so high there, but I guess they can charge whatever. It's 8%, I think, tax. So I bought that, I bought a PC. Tell you about that?
Oh, you did not.
Okay, I'll show you it. So it's an Xbox Series X PC hookup. It's pretty cool. So that was $500.
You don't even have an Xbox.
What?
You don't have an Xbox.
I'll show you. Yeah, I did.
What the fuck?
I'll show you. I bought it.
Yeah, you could have bought whole equipment for this podcast.
Nah, but I wanted to buy something.
But you
fun.
wanted?
Anyways.
It's like how you're posting on Popular Pigeon and
Oh shit. Anyways, go follow Popular Pigeon.
No.
Cool shout out.
Subscribe to this channel.
Yeah,
Keep talking.
Nobody watches this.
Keep talking.
Anyways, this is a good discussion to have though. I'll tell you later about the Xbox. It's pretty cool. You can hook a keyboard.
You better not
up
be
to
playing
it.
fucking games on that.
You can hook a keyboard up to it.
Alright, so
Anyways,
you're turning into one.
what were we talking about?
Degenerates and losers.
I had a good flow going. You messed me up.
Alright, something I would like to say though.
Oh wait, inflation. I paid $500 for the Series X, and $500 for the keyboard, mouse, and monitor, which is my TV. Anyways, do you know how much the tax was on that?
No.
$110. No, but that's crazy. I probably spent.
Alright, but what does this have to do with the...
But how are you supposed to afford that? How's the younger generation going to afford that? Do you see what jobs pay? Minimum wage is $15. I got paid when I was working my job. I got paid in my first check $70 for 7 hours of work. Can you believe that? That's $10 an hour of real money take home after taxes. After you've seen the taxes on a W-4, what they take out. Social Security, they take out, like, if you've taken any, like, I don't even know if you have children. It's crazy. And that's another thing. It's too expensive to have kids. Unless you're well off, only the rich people will have kids.
Yeah.
But the people that have kids and then they can't afford them, they abandon them. And that's why we see that stereotype in the hood of these broke people abandoning their children.
I mean, yeah, but a lot of these children have been abandoned psychologically and morally. Like, you look at some of these people and you wonder where the fuck are your parents?
With the OnlyFans people. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. The thing with
And I get trying to make your parents proud, but that's not the way to do it ever.
No, it's not making anybody proud.
No, not even yourself. At the end of the day, you look at yourself and realize you have no moral standards.
Yeah.
And then you have the right to be in a feminist movement. That's the weirdest thing. You see those models who've been in the feminist movement. You abuse your own body. That doesn't make any sense. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
How are you going to abuse your own body and then say that your body is precious and something to be looked after?
Feminism doesn't make a lot of sense because it
doesn't.
Okay, right now.
Well, right now.
Most men have. No, listen. Most men have porn addictions, but then the sort of revolt that they're leading is, okay, let me get naked on the street. And it's like, Okay.
Oh well, that is strange.
Okay, thank you. Like that's not.
No. We could have a discussion about that. That is strange. And I'll tell you right now, if whatever, I don't want to get into politics, but if whatever the hell president we have next doesn't shut that down, it may be time to move. Look at us. I'm talking for the country and for the nation. They know what I'm talking about. The people watching this know what I'm talking about. I don't care who you voted for. It doesn't matter at this point. There's nothing here that can save this except the moral change and an increase in moral standards for everyone. And that's almost impossible.
It really starts with
340 million people.
Men needs to become masculine again, because really what this all stems from is that feminism has destroyed masculinity. But the thing is, here's what masculinity.
But is that what it stems from?
Listen,
men in my dad's generation, they weren't masculine.
If you look at what we're getting, we get either degenerates or losers. The way masculinity works is that it evolves. So in caveman times, okay, masculinity, being a man meant eat, reproduce, like survive, reproduce. Okay, then everything gets colonized. Whatever. Being a man means work the farm, feed your family, and then the most recent one that we've come out of was man goes to work, makes money, provides for family, raises his children, right? Which was like a wholesome thing. Then
no, but that's not now. That wasn't even in 1980.
No, that's not now. That's what I'm saying. Because when feminism comes along, and I'm not saying that it's a bad thing for women to work, that they can't work.
Right, and change is not always bad.
But when you put women into the workforce and then they can make their own money, well then you leave men questioning, all right, well where's my value? Like what?
No. Do you know the actual problem?
Well, where's your value? They're completely purposeless. It's like, what do I do with my life? Well,
that's not true.
Yes, it is.
You've seen our mothers. They provide still, but my dad also provides most of the money.
Yeah, but I'm saying for a lot of the men.
But do you know what that does?
If a girl can get on OnlyFans and make millions of dollars,
but who is paying for that?
You said it to me yourself.
Men are paying for that. Who do you think the problem is? Who do you think the problem is here? Yeah. Who made women allowed to get a job?
Men.
Who made women get the 18th?
But that's not the problem. The problem is that you left men in the dust and you didn't tell them. There was no thought to like, okay.
But that is not.
What is your value anymore?
But this is such a hard topic to go into because that's not about that anymore. It's about now that you've given women the same paying jobs and everything.
No, more paying. Gender pay gap has been reversed.
No. For certain jobs. Minimum wage jobs.
If you read the book, Don't Be a Feminist.
Who most likely becomes waiters? Like, who most likely becomes nurses? Right. Anyways, there's always been women with jobs.
Yeah.
Do you understand
I'm
what
not
I'm
saying that women with jobs are the problem. I think I made that very clear when I first made my statement.
I am.
All right. We'll get into that in a minute. But I'm saying that the real problem with women having jobs is that men got left in the dust.
No. The real problem with women having jobs is they pay
their direction was go ask fucking Evan what his purpose is.
No.
Go ask
my
Evan
job couldn't even afford to pay half the staff.
Exactly what I'm saying.
It's not the people. The businesses can't afford to stay around.
I'm saying it's the purpose, not the people.
How am I? Let's say I was a business. Let's say I was a restaurant, and I had to employ 40 people. I couldn't do that. I'd have to employ 20. That 40 person staff is never going to. They're going to outweigh my production. The businesses aren't making enough because men and women don't make enough to go back into the businesses. And where do you think half the money goes? Into the government. What is the government doing? Providing financial aid to countries 3,000 kilometers away across the ocean. Oh, that's for economic values that we have support. They're not even part of NATO. I'm serious. Yeah. They don't know us. If we weren't around, they'd find somebody else. The U.S. is $44 trillion in debt.
Really?
Bro, there's no way. And we make, do you know how much, I looked it up. if each person pays an annual tax of $75,000 a year, that's the average person spends, because a lot in America, because some people spend millions of dollars, some people spend $80 a year. Anyways, the average was 75,000. What is 8% of that? 10K times 355 million people. Let's say everybody pays taxes. That's like 1.5 trillion. It would still take 40 years to pay off. Now, I don't know why the older generation, baby boomers, are dying off. You know that problem. World population's actually going to decrease.
I told you this and you didn't believe me.
Right, but that's only for a short time. Then we'll have more people.
But that also goes back to directionless.
But if you want to talk about circles,
oh boy.
If I can pay you a stable salary, and you put that money back in to a restaurant, to a business, and that money gets back to me, that's a stable run. The problem is nobody has money to go out to restaurants.
I'm not even talking about the money part.
Money makes the world go round.
I know, but I'm not talking about the money part. I'm talking about how the money part was the purpose for men. Now it's not. So now, what do you fucking work for? Just take the easy version of everything that's given to you. Instead of working hard to provide for a family so you can have an intimate, loving relationship and you can live the American dream, you can just watch porn.
Well, the American dream is dead.
It's dead, that's what I'm saying. You can just watch porn instead. But that's been dead. It's been dead, but you can just watch porn instead. Why would I go and compete and build a business when I can just be really good at Fortnite? Why would I? There's no reason. Because those things don't work the same. It's not as straightforward. It's more complex. It takes an immense level of success.
Do you know why you
in any endeavor to have the relative level of success that it used to have before women had jobs?
Right, but do you want to know why that you could just play Fortnite and do all this? Because there's an audience. There is somebody who wants to sit on their ass and watch you and pay for you.
I'm not even talking. I'm talking about the people who live in their parents' basement that just play Fortnite. They don't have anything else to live for. What do you have to live for? You have wait. I don't think you understand because you're educated. I don't think you understand where a person like Evan has no fucking clue what's going on in the world.
I don't want to understand, see, because that's where problem. Because
so that's the point of this conversation. We can only fix it if we understand it. It's not.
You see, I'm about to say this. This is going to be controversial. Those are the people that vote. Those are the people that vote on who they want to lead an entire country. The president has people above them. Sure. But if tomorrow the president decided he wants all the homeless people off the street and needs to fix the economic status of inflation and he wants to stop printing money, that'll do something. But that might, there's a lot that goes into that. I'm not saying it's an easy job, just stop printing money and inflation will drop. It's not true because the money will start going to somewhere else. It might work. There's a low percent. It might work. But I'd rather not take a gamble as being a president. But these are the people who will vote. We haven't gotten, I've talked to 20-year-olds. Mm-hmm. They work the same job as 15-year-olds. Mm-hmm. Nothing changes unless you can't escape. Do you know how hard it is to get out of a move? Do you know how hard it is to move?
Oh yeah, it's hard.
Move states. Most people, when you're born in a state, you live in that state, you die in that state. Sometimes even physically wise. That's the sad part. See, now even my grandparents lived in New York and they were staying in New York. My parents, same thing. Staten Island was part of New York. They may have moved a little bit, but you can't escape the state. No matter we have enough money too. Why do we not? Because there's nowhere else to go. Remember when people wanted to move to America because their countries were so shit that they had to move to America? It's happening with the immigration in Mexico. That's the sad part. These people who are immigrating from Mexico Immigration's not a bad thing at all. But when you have these people that it pains me to see these people, these illegal immigrants that don't even come in. I know kids in our school that their parents have waited 25 years to get into the U.S. legally, and they did it. That's great for them. But if you start immigrating illegally and then you go out and shoot somebody on the streets of Manhattan, I mean, I'm sure you've seen it. It's not even American citizens killing Americans, and we have a president that will do nothing about it. We have a police force that will do nothing about it. Have you seen the videos of? I'm not trying to diss on the police force right now because they do a lot of good services, but where is the disconnect? You've seen those cops that will sit on the street of New York City. Officer, this homeless man is chasing me. Can you help me? No. There's nothing they can do about it. They've lost their rights.
Mm-hmm.
I'm serious. They've lost their rights. If they were to detain a black man now, what do you think would happen?
Canceled.
Canceled. They'd be
Arrested.
They'd be arrested and they'd be sent to prison. If you accidentally hurt a black man without a reason. Right? If they had no reason in the moment. Even if he robbed a drugstore and they were to tackle him. Nah, not even. Citizens have more rights. If I wanted to go tackle somebody who stole from my store, I could. That's why in Florida they have that rule. Somebody breaks into your house, shoot them. Less work for the police force. And it's also legal. But there's also no way. There's governors doing more than the presidents. Which should never have happened ever.
Mm-hmm.
Like ever. It's hard to lead an entire nation, I understand, but I want to know your opinion on, inflation rising plus 2% or whatever it is right now.
My opinion on it? I mean, you kind of just said everything there is to be said.
Right.
I don't really...
But do you believe it's inevitable or reversible?
Is it reversible?
Because...
Fuck no.
Why not? Because of the people?
Sociology of the mass narrative.
Right.
Unless you...
But it is theoretically
Unless you
reversible.
create an immense change in the spirit of the times, and you change the thinking of the public and people finally wake up to what's actually fucking happening, then maybe you can make a change, but that's not going to happen because they shut down anyone that does that. For example, Tate. I'm not saying
they.
They? The narrative. The culture. The people who get offended.
But why?
Because they're emotional.
Why?
Because that's the narrative.
No, they're emotional because there's something wrong. And I'm gonna go ahead and say it.
Well, that's also just a human
I said this
condition.
from day one. You are mentally ill. You want me to be honest? If you think emotionally that you're this... Bro, I don't know what these kids think. I don't think they do think. If you are this emotionally unstable in your life, you are mentally ill. What happened to you saying you are mentally ill? Be straight up with somebody. You're a mental patient. Bring psych wards back.
Because that's offensive. We're being conditioned to be emotional.
Right. It's crazy, bro. It's crazy. Most kids would rather undergo a transgender procedure than undergo a leg procedure. You've seen polls. You've seen the public opinions. It is crazy. And I'm praying that there's people like you and me that are wanting to start some sort of business or brotherhood or something, or doing something for the future. They gotta lower the age.
I don't know.
See, but they gotta lower the age. What do you think about presidents that are being 88?
I think they need somebody.
85, sorry. If Biden runs another term, he's 85 years old in office.
My mom wears a shirt.
3 years younger.
My mom wears a shirt that's like, people wear those Trump shirts or those Biden shirts,
Mm-hmm.
but hers says anybody under 60.
Honestly, yeah.
Yeah.
85, bro, when he's done. My grandpa has Parkinson's, and he's on the verge of collapsing every single day. He has a wheelchair. He's 75.
How old is Trump?
70-something, 77. I think he's 3
That's
years
also
younger.
too old. I think that America is a lost cause. It was too much of a shift. It's like cigarettes. It's like cigarettes.
Cigarettes are gone. Right.
No. But it's like cigarettes, because cigarettes, when smoking became popularized in the U.S., doctors said that it was good for you to smoke because it made your lungs stronger. But it wasn't until it wasn't until the 1940s where it was such a mass spread thing and everybody liked to smoke that they discovered, it gives you cancer, and it never went away. It has taken different forms of vaping and hitting the bong or whatever the fuck. But
Do you know there's people that think you can't get addicted to that in our school?
vaping or what?
Bro, it's not America. It's they're dropping it to the younger generations. And I'm not gonna do that at 5 kids. That's what they're doing. I'll move.
Yeah, but where are so where?
That's why you're saying America's a lost cause. That's where they went wrong. See, when in 1980 somebody made video games, right? Video games were a big thing. You started this thing where my parents doing stuff, and the parents before them doing stuff like creating cigarettes, vaping, doing this as a mass media influence, doing all this stuff. Now it's passing it down, like inheritance.
Mm-hmm.
Except this is like a disease, because it just doesn't go to you. Whoever you make contact with, your friends, your family. That's what I mean. I ask these kids who don't vape why they hang around kids who vape, and they're like, hit this bro. They don't even know, because they're getting diseased. They're not getting influenced, they're getting diseased. You've been touched with the cheese touch, metaphorically. Now you're diseased. Now you know somewhere in your mind that vaping exists, and it probably tastes good, and it's probably not bad for you.
I used to vape.
No, because people are telling you that it's not bad, and it's not, and you think, it's not bad, it tastes great.
You know what we all said when we started vaping? We knew it was bad for us, but so me and this group of friends that I used to hang out with, all fucking degenerates, we started vaping and we said, we're just gonna vape while we're young and it doesn't matter, and we're gonna quit when we're like 20.
You weren't gonna quit.
Hell no. I'm so glad that I quit while I was young. But those people are still vaping.
People in my family that used to smoke, they never quit.
They're still holding the same belief that I'll just drop it when I'm 20. I'm not addicted. I just like doing it right now, just cause like live your best life. It's fucking.
Well, my great grandparents were from Sicily, Italy. They liked smoking cigars and stuff. So, but when they moved over here, right, and they didn't have, and everything was a little more expensive and whatnot, they didn't have that much money.
It's just confirmation bias and the amount of shit that you have in your brain.
But they would just steal cigars and cigarettes. Because why not? that's addiction, right?
Only thing I will ever smoke is a cigar. I wanna smoke a cigar once, just for the Top G experience.
Right, you gotta deserve it though.
You gotta deserve it. Bums smoke cigarettes. Degenerates smoke any other drug. And men smoke cigars.
Men with money. Cigars are expensive.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised. But
I would do it once.
This is gonna have to be split into multiple parts. There's a way to get down to the science of the problem with the United States right now, and that is leadership values and moral standards. I don't know if you agree with me on that. And it's how you were raised.
Social media, man.
And we could talk about people like Evan.
We could do a whole podcast about Evan.
We could bring him on. I don't understand what he's.
You want to bring him on? Skibbity toilet.
I don't understand what it's like. It's hard for the people watching.
Do you want to talk about
to understand? I'm sure people have friends like this, and if you're in your 40s now or your 50s now, you don't have people like this to, right? No 50-year-olds skibbity. Bro, what?
No, there's 5-year-olds going to
No.
the toilet on social media for views.
For views, but there's nobody that truly understands. If I were to tell my grandpa right now, Riz Lord, Ohio Sigma, he'd look at me like I was a crack addict. Genuinely. Nobody knows what this is. It's
You want to talk about?
It's a problem, bruh. It really is. I don't know what these kids are saying. And in school next year, I hope you know I'm not going to be, bro, not talking to Evan. Kids like him. If you come up to me in the hallways and start saying something about Skibidi Toilet, like that was 2023, bro. Drop the act. It's actually annoying. We're going to be sophomores.
I just find it crazy how these people.
You don't have to.
They're
talk to
NPCs.
anybody.
They don't have brains, and I'm not talking just people like Evan. I'm talking about people who. I don't want to name drop.
Somebody has to cook the burgers, dumbass. That's true.
I don't want to name drop, but there's this girl in my class.
But nobody wants to cook the burgers, dumbass. Don't you see? Don't you see?
There's this girl in my class.
They don't want to, but they don't want to try to not to. It's such a weird cycle.
She has Tourette's for TikTok dances. Teacher will be teaching, and she starts going like this. She doesn't stop talking. Constantly yelling about something.
This is why I told you. As you get more successful and more successful, the women will come. Those are the high quality women. Those are the pretty women that you want.
Is that doing the fucking TikTok dances?
No. I'm talking about when you get successful. Look where we are right now. Look at Walden, New York, United States. There's nice houses. There's a bad area. Where do you think all the kids are from? Nobody in a nice area wants to have kids. What's the motivation? It's money, it's cost, but it's to carry on your legacy. But who would care if you're caring
Immortality
about...
project.
Right. But who would care if you're caring about Skibidi Toilet? That's what you were talking about before. Who would care if you're in your grandparents' basement and you have everything brought to you?
Mm-hmm.
You just stay at a standard.
Too comfortable. It's crazy.
Yes.
A lot of it has to do with the replacement of our real desires, right? So no person on earth at all desires to watch porn, but
No.
it's a mimicry of what you actually want, which is sex and intimacy and love. Nobody on earth wants to play video games. What you really want is that sense of competition and brotherhood. But when you give people this fake version of everything, they create the success
Not
in a
fake.
virtual world.
It's very real, and that's the scary part. It's the easy real version.
It's not fake. It's false.
But it's the easy real version. It's
That's
weird.
that's what I'm saying. You give them the easy version. Why would you do the version of it that
Why
takes
would those
any
people
effort?
listen? It's just a weak upbringing. It really is, and people like Evan, and I'm not gonna name drop right his whole situation, but I'm sure.
No, I don't know. Fuck it. Evan doesn't.
It's so I don't like saying they're not real, but
They're
I
not.
can't.
They're not. I
I
can't.
just can't
I can't.
talk. I can't talk. If I said hi,
They've turned them into statistics. They're not real people. Hi, Stella.
that's even worse. Becoming a statistic. That's even,
Stella's giving
no,
me
that's
a
horrible.
death stare right now. Hi, Stella.
No, but that is horrible.
Mm-hmm.
You've seen those people that die in wars that become a statistic? That's what we complain about. Oh, they're just a statistic. That is awful. You died for the country, now you're a statistic. How many people died? Nobody knows. You're a statistic. 1.4 million.
I want to take away everything from these people and see if that makes
If
a
you're
difference.
okay with becoming a statistic, that is really bad.
No, listen, I want to take away social media, video games, porn, and just let these people sit in a room with
The
their
internet
own
is a
mind.
genius invention, though. Why did we use it for degeneracies? Because there is a human desire for the easy way out.
It's a
and
hijacking of that desire, yeah.
Right. Hijacking.
Before, the easy way out before social media and pornography was
become homeless.
work hard, get a nice home, wife, fuck or have children. If you
Yeah,
wanted to
but
have
you-
sex, you had to be
Yes.
a good high value man. You had to put in the effort to attract someone.
But in a way,
whatever.
I told you luck isn't real. But in a way, almost it's still not real. I was gonna say it is, but then I was like, no, it's still not. So let's say your family owned a plot of land at the beach, right?
They do.
Now it's worth whatever. Let's say in 100 years ago, my family bought a plot of land for $100 on the beach front of New Jersey or California. Do you know how much that would be worth? Like $5 million. A beachfront house, even a small
I want to
non-cabin.
get into real estate.
It's going to be a good market. There's nobody that wants to build houses anymore, and those people are going to slowly decrease and decrease and decrease. You want to go sit on a construction site and build a house?
Mm-mm.
No. Do you want to make money from it? Yeah. If they offer me a good pay, yeah. They're not offering a good pay because I explained to you earlier why they can't. Because there's both men and women in the workforce, and there's a lot of people that need jobs. And there's a lot of people that need jobs, none that are willing to work the hard ones. Do you want to be an oil engineer? There's people that search for oil and then go there and put the big pole in the ground and then are covered in sweat and dirt, and their eyes are like watering when they come home and they can't see and drive home. No. Nobody wants to do that. There's no need to do that if you can make money from twerking on the camera. Right? But who pays for that? Evan. Where does he get the money? I'm talking about your parents bought that one plot of land, or your great grandparents bought a plot of land in, let's say, Italy, and it was on the beach. That could be worth $10 million. That's just not even luck. That's a generational thing. Inflation. If you're smart with your real estate, some people don't even do that intentionally. I told you, my great grandparents used to live in Brooklyn. That property value, my papa's old house is worth $4.5 million. His plot of land, which they made into 2 houses. That is it unfortunate? Yeah, I guess. Who would have known? You know what I mean? And if people with money, that's the fear that these people we're talking about, Skibidi Toilet, Ohio Rizzler, will get that money, not know what to do with it, and put their money into something generously. And it will happen. It has happened. It's already happening. Right? Inheritance. I don't know who would want that. That would make me so pissed. Who would let their kids be total degenerates and then give them their money when they die?
My kids are not getting my money when I die.
That is ridiculous.
My kids are not.
I will. It depends. Who are your kids? What do they do? What are they like? Do you have an Evan? Depends.
Evan's not getting my money.
No, not that moral standard.
Maybe maybe I do need to change my perspective on that. If I raise my kid very well, I may give him my money.
Of course.
But I want him to work for it.
That's part of upbringing.
Mm-hmm. I want him to be a man capable of having that much money.
Right, but do you know how hard you have to work having a kid?
Pretty hard.
Bro, they're like
That's far in the future for me. I'm not even close to thinking about that right
over
now.
$50,000 a year.
We need to get this up
On
and running
cost.
first.
Right. This is the end goal here, and if this doesn't work out, always have something to fall back on. Just kidding. We have nothing to fall back on. This will work if we try.
If you
I'm gonna
truly
tell
try,
myself.
you can never fail.
Right. And that's what everyone watching should tell themselves, because that could make a great generation to come. If you tell yourself you can try on something and you try something and you fail and fail and fail and fail, have you really failed? Because you just learned that you can't do it that way, you can't do it this way. Everything I do is I take and learn.
Inverse Pharoaic victory.
Right. And I think we could do another episode on this, talking about, well, the political views of what's happening, or economic.
I don't know much about politics.
Research. There's always more to learn.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Who do you want to bring on?
we should probably bring somebody on. Sean would be an interesting guest.
Let me break him.
Anyways, I can arrange something. I think I could. And if we were going into easy money, Sean knows a lot about that. There's people that buy and sell and do stuff on eBay, like drop shipping. Super easy, you can make money from that. I don't recommend doing that. That's never a long term ever. You can't drop ship when you're 48. And you can't.
That's a discussion for another episode.
Right. This is.
Let's cut it here.
Yeah. This is going to be a long one, but.
Not trying to mimic Chris Williamson, but the bigger the guests. The bigger
the guests.
Shut up. The bigger the show, the bigger the guests.
My dad.
Subscribe because we have really interesting things that we want to bring in the coming years.
Coming days.
We want to spread this message. We want to be a part of the revolution that's happening to fix the world, and stuff like this has saved my life. Podcasts like these have saved my life. I wanted to kill myself. Information like this that a lot of people don't get to is the reason why a lot of people end their lives, and I want to be part of the reason people find this path.
Right. That's a horrible thing when you don't have access to anyone or thing to talk to. I mean, that's why they have counselors. So that is the end goal here.
Subscribe, like the video. I don't even know what to say.
That's the end.
What matters more is if you learn something.
Correct.